These 5 YouTubers have been arrested, and today we're going to break down what they did. First, starting with Eric Conover. Eric Van Conover is a YouTuber with almost 3 million subscribers. Eric built his channel and reputation off of exploring mansions and cool homes across the world, but mainly in the state of New York. He would take the time to show off these cool and old homes and mansions, but just like an old home, eventually it would come crashing down without warning, and this is what happened to Eric. In March of 2025, Eric would be pulled over by the police going 55 and a 35. Eric allegedly would then wait until the police officer exited their vehicle and would attempt to run him over with his car before speeding away. This would cause a high-speed pursuit where they would eventually catch and arrest him, booking him on attempted murder charges and a couple of others. He would later appear in court and would have a mental breakdown, claiming that the arrest was false, they had the wrong person, and that he would eviscerate anybody with his intelligence.
If anyone dares try to test my mental competence, I will eviscerate every single person with my intelligence right now. And that's not being egotistical.
Now, when you compare him now to what you see on his YouTube channel, there is a stark difference. He was recently arrested earlier in the month for drinking under the influence, and many point to this as the reason why he ran from the police. And according to the people close to him, he suffers from schizophrenia, and after looking on Twitter and other reports, he is off of his meds, and it was completely his choice, stating that Big Pharma was trying to rip him off. He is currently in custody and awaiting trial, but this is not the case with Austin Jones. Austin Jones was a songwriter and musician who is making waves on YouTube for his music, having essentially the Justin Bieber path to success. He would gain an audience of mostly young girls and would begin to tour around the United States. He would begin to hit new and new heights in his career, but this would end just as fast as it would start, but not in the way that most people would think. Behind the scenes, Austin was secretly one of YouTube's darkest creators, getting exposed in videos and texts trying to solicit inappropriate photos and videos from underage girls. He would pressure these kids into complying with what he wanted out of fear of disappointing their favorite artist, and he would also tell them that he would have somebody else do it for him and that they're not really his biggest fan, just to play on these girls' emotions. Eventually, he would be exposed on Twitter by one of the victims, and more people would come out against him, and eventually the police would look into the matter and would arrest him at O'Hare International Airport for 2 counts of producing CP, and he would be sentenced to 10 years in prison. His earliest release is December 31st, 2027. Now, YouTubers going after kids is nothing new, and this is what happened to Rudy Frank. Rudy Frank was the owner of the 8 Passengers YouTube channel. This was a family vlog channel which centered around Rudy and her children. The channel was huge during its peak, reaching over 2.5 million subscribers and billions of views. But when you take a closer look into the channel, you would see some really troubling things, such as the way that Rudy disciplined her children, being that one of her sons was banned from his room and he was forced to sleep on a beanbag chair for 7 months. She would not feed her kids, she would behead a stuffed animal, and these were just some of the tame things that would come out about Rudy and her home. In August of 2023, a news story would break that Rudy Frank and another woman by the name of Judy Hindenbrandt would be arrested for child abuse. The police would be called after one of Rudy's kids was seen escaping the home of Judy and heading to a neighbor's home looking for food and water. He would be seen with cuts and duct tapes on his arms and legs, and it would be seen that these marks clearly came from rope. The police would enter the home and would find Rudy's 10-year-old daughter, and both of the kids would be taken to the hospital and treated for malnutrition. They would also have deep lacerations caused by being bound by rope, and when talking to the children, they would say that their wounds would be treated with a combination of cayenne powder and honey. Rudy and Judy would be charged and sentenced to prison. And if you're interested in learning more about this scary and other horrible families on YouTube, go ahead and check out this video right here for more information. Now, Rudy Frank isn't the only YouTuber who is currently spending time behind bars. The YouTuber Omi and a Hellcat is also with her. Omi and a Hellcat was a YouTuber who was known for flexing. He would flex $1 million homes. He would also be seen buying $1 million worth of sports cars and other luxury items. And for a while during his come up, many people had the same question: where did all of this money come from? Omi, to his core, was a hustler. He was a drug dealer during the early parts of his life, and he would eventually start to burn video games, movies, and other DVDs for money. And when he saw that streaming was becoming the go-to way to absorb media, he would be smart enough to adapt and would eventually create the platform called Gears TV. And off of this and other things, he would make millions of dollars doing so. He was also really open about it online, not being shy, saying that he was pirating these movies and TVs. And this would eventually lead him to legal troubles down the line. On November 17, 2019, the FBI would perform a raid on Omi's home, seizing a ton of assets such as his cars, jewelry, his money, also a bunch of TVs and SIM cards. After the raid, he would be arrested and given a list of charges, being conspiracy, money laundering, wire fraud, tax evasion, and copyright infringement. He would eventually plead guilty and receive over 5.5 years in prison. It would be fined $30 million. The police would eventually auction everything off. And if you're interested in learning more about Omi and a Hellcat, I'm gonna go ahead and make make a video soon. It'll be linked in the description when it is finished. Now, Omi was smart enough to keep getting money, but wasn't really smart when it came to not showing the world his illegal activities. Unlike the creator of Vote Saxon, who tried to use his YouTube channel to save himself from legal action. Vote Saxon, or better known as Stephen McCall, ran a Doctor Who YouTube channel. He would also game and review other things on his channel as well. He would slowly build up a loyal fan base and was consistently growing, but behind the scenes, he wasn't as nice as he seemed. On December 18, 2022, Stephen would stream on his channel the game San Andreas. But when you take a look at the stream, there's some weird things going on. First being that he wasn't talking to his chat. He would claim that he couldn't respond to them or his PC would break, which doesn't really make any sense to anybody with a brain. And as it would turn out, people were right. The entire stream was just a ruse. The stream was a pre-recorded video, and the reason why it was being played as a stream is rather shocking. Turns out that during the stream, Stephen would kill his then girlfriend, Natalie McNally. Natalie was also pregnant with his child. He would attempt to use the live stream as an alibi to avoid arrest, and this story, when it first came out, did make waves, specifically because not a lot of people did this before, and it was the first time a real kind of established YouTuber did it. His trial is currently set to May 6th of this year. And now, here's a bonus creator for us to talk about. Trevor Jacob was a YouTuber who was known for his extreme sports videos, such as skydiving, snowboarding, and others. But he was also known for his ability to fly an airplane, and he made several videos showing his ability. But this is what would lead to his crash back down to Earth. He would post a video flying around in his airplane, claiming to be flying to a mountain to spread his friend's ashes. But during the flight, something bad would happen. He would have to abandon the airplane, so he didn't die. But as you can tell, this is fake. The plane was outfitted with many cameras and lights, and he wore a bulky parachute while flying, and he decided to jump mid-flight for views. Now, as you can imagine, this is illegal, and would eventually get him investigated, where the investigators would ask for the location of the crash and all the cameras and media as well. Trevor would agree to do so, but would not tell them where the crash was, saying that he could not remember. But as many people would point out, he hiked to it multiple times to get his camera equipment and other stuff from the wreck. And according to an investigation, they deemed that he crashed his plane for views, saying that he didn't attempt to land the aircraft, he jumped before the claimed engine failure occurred, and he did not contact anybody in the about the crash. As it would turn out, Trevor would get the aircraft moved, and because of everything, on May 11, 2023, Trevor would plead guilty and receive 6 months in prison. Now, compared to the people on this list, this is a much lighter offense and a whole lot lighter of a prison sentence, but doesn't make it any more scummy. And the fact that he put himself in danger and could have possibly messed up an ecosystem, because you are still crashing a plane. Now, these are just some of the few YouTubers who have been caught and arrested for their crimes, but who is the worst one that you guys have ever seen? And if you would like to see another video like this, go ahead and put it down in the comments below. With all that being said, Dex out. Bye.
You don't fuck with us, won't fuck with you, won't be no tragedies. Lil' bro don't even aim, he just gon' shoot, he catchin' casualties. I don't care to conversate with my plug, just give me perkies please. Lil' bro get jammed up, he don't even trip off his lawyer fees. Sliding through the trenches, don't talk to detectives. Spoke on press racks, had them niggas hopping fences. Or in front they cop a grill before they ever see a dentist.